Speaking of Steinway, we have someone from Steinway here for just a few minutes to talk to us, and that is Steve Claunch, the VP of Technical Services for Steinway, Texas. Steve, we welcome you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming by. Steve is one of my favorite technicians ever, and you're so unflappable. Anything we tell you, you're able to fix. Now, how?
Get it done.
So, is that just a symptom of your having been in this business for so long?
It is. It's you get out in the field and you just have to solve problems wherever they come up and make sure you get it right and get it done and get it done quick.
Get it right the first time, right?
That's right.
So a VP of Technical Services, that sounds kind of advanced. What do you do? What do you do for Steinway now?
Actually, what I do now is I spend a lot of time hiring and maintaining a fleet of technicians, make sure that they're handling their areas, and I'm kind of overseeing all of them. And with us taking on Houston market and then all of Dallas and Fort Worth and North Texas, keeping the technicians running and the movers.
Yeah.
And
movers are such a big thing. I know for our Cliburn in the Classroom, which is a big program of the Cliburn's outreach. We go to so many elementary schools. That piano gets moved 250 times a year.
That's correct.
So yeah, the moving budget is big.
It is
for that operation.
Right.
And I've said on the web, you know, the piano holds up really well, considering how many times per year it gets moved. It gets dinged up a little bit, but it still sounds really great.
Performs like a dream all the time.
It really does. So how many technicians does it take in North Texas and Houston to keep all those balls in the air? How
right
many
now
do you have?
I have 4 and I need way more.
Really?
But 4 is, but I have to be very cautious about who we bring on board and that their standards are the standards that meet what's going on like tonight.
And how do you do that? How do you, in the interview process, how do you ascertain who's going to come up to your standards?
I have them come work in front of me and with me.
Oh, I see.
For a few days, and then I can monitor, you know, what kind of realm I can see out of their skills. And I put them in front of things that I know will be a problem and how they're going to solve it.
So you create problems for them
I do.
to solve.
I do.
Great. And you know, piano technicians, being one yourself, you know this, piano technicians are artists every bit as much as the pianists themselves.
Yes, they are.
It really, it takes an ear, you know, and taste, you know, and taste is such a subjective thing.
It is.
It's hard. It's not just one set of standards. Every technician has his own personality. He thinks that what he's doing is the best possible way for the piano
Always.
to sound, just like a pianist. You
Right.
know, that's just like a pianist. So do you find that in your work when you're hiring these people? You know, you have a technician that likes it this way and one that likes it this way.
Yes.
You have ones with different personalities.
And then I try to open up their minds and say, it's not what we want, it's what the pianist that we're working for wants.
Right.
And then you say, you have to learn to listen to a musician. And most pianists aren't very well trained at knowing how to talk our language.
Right.
And so you have to learn to talk theirs and to watch them and listen to them and say, oh, I know what they want. And then create it for them, even if it's not what we want.
Right. So, you know, you must run into this too. You have pianists that you're working with where maybe there is a language barrier. You can't who can't tell you exactly what they want. So how do you solve that when you're dealing with a language?
By listening to them play.
Really?
And
they'll
they'll show you in their playing what they're trying to get out of the piano, out of their instrument, and then you can say, I know how to help them get their result. If you stop and listen and pay attention to what they're trying to create, because it's all about the art.
Right.
all
On
about
both
the art.
sides.
On both
On
sides.
the technician side and on our side. You know, Steinway has provided, I'm just going to read this list of statistics, kind of stupendous, providing just for the amateur competition 6 rehearsal grand pianos, 18 practice pianos. Are those uprights?
Yes,
that you provided?
those are uprights.
And 1 grand piano for open piano night. And of course, we have the Hamburg Steinway. That's a lot to
It's
keep
a lot
in
of
shape
pianos.
for a week because that's 68 competitors cycling around on those 18 uprights. That's a lot. I suppose the grand pianos are mostly here in the hall, and the 18 practice pianos are around Sundance Square.
Right.
So that's a lot to
It's a lot
that's
to
a lot of balls to
maintain.
keep in the air.
But at the same time, the only problem we've had so far has been benches.
Oh yeah,
Pianos have been great. The benches are having some issues, so we've dealt with bench issues, but we've got them
It's
handled.
always something.
It is.
Right?
It is.
You've been a longtime partner with us, not just for Cliburn concerts, but as I said, Cliburn in the community, Cliburn in the classroom, Cliburn sessions. Now,
Yes.
that's a different environment for a piano to be in, particularly a concert, so to speak.
Right.
Piano, that's in a much, much different environment. Do pianos behave well in that kind of environment? Do you have to make any extra allowances for it?
You do. You have to be very careful with making sure that the piano's not changing, or that it's stable, and
Right.
so you've got to give it some extra effort. You
Right.
really do. And the pianos, they get shuffled around. We drive them around like trucks, and then expect them to perform like the magnificent artists, and but that's the way you have to do it. And with the Cliburn, it's so important. It is too. And Danny Saliba, my boss, had a history with Van and the Cliburn Foundation for 30 years now.
And Van, in turn, had such a history with the Steinway
Yes.
piano, he really never wanted to play anything else.
Right, and so we've got this devotion to helping this situation. And
Van once said in print, I think that when you have a wonderful Steinway, you just can't do any better.
that's
What he said.
Yes.
So his soul was certainly with
Right.
Steinway. He had so many in his house. of
He
course.
did. They were everywhere.
Steve, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. We'll see you around this week. I'm
Okay.
sure.
All right. Thank you.